Hi everyone, welcome back to Unapologetic with me, your host, Kelsey Kruger. I can't tell if it's the lighting or what. I just look so pale. She looks so pale and it's winter, so my hair is also on the struggle bus of vibrancy. So honestly, what you see is what you get. I'm trying really hard to recenter right now and refocus. Recenter my brain here. Been really stressed out, really anxious, which is, again, I know I said this last episode, not in my character, but recently it has been, and I'm learning how to navigate that and learning how to overcome this. And honestly, it's probably because I'm not taking my vitamins like I should be. I guarantee you that's part of it, is I don't have the right nutrients in my body, to be honest, and I need to prioritize that. But nonetheless, here we are. This episode means a lot to me. This topic means a lot to me. It's really prevalent in my life, in my friends' life, in society, in young and old alike. We've all experienced this topic. And you guys have no idea literally how many times I have tried to film this episode. Partly because half of the times I just couldn't get it right, wasn't loving what I was saying, how I was saying it, yada yada yada, being quite a perfectionist. And I need to let go of it. I will say, one time I did film the entire thing perfectly. I was like, this is awesome. I said what I wanted to say. I got my message across how I wanted to. I was so proud of it. And I filmed the entire thing in slow motion. Okay. The entire thing in slow motion. And you might be thinking, well, Kelsey, you can just format it, speed it up, whatever. No, my camera in specific, if you film something in slow motion, there is no sound. It's really focusing on that slow motion, there's no sound. So that was quite discouraging, and I have just been so in my head lately and so in my head about this, if I'm just being raw and honest, and had such a perfectionist outlook about it, and I'm like, well, if I can't do it this way, I don't want to do it at all. When in reality, the real reason I started this is because I just want to talk. I want to speak about what's important to me. I want to share my insights, share stories, just chat. That's all I want to do. Just at the bottom, the end of the day, I just want to sit here and talk. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put pressure on myself that this needs to be perfect and flow smoothly, because that's not life. And you know what? We're gonna be unapologetic about it. You know what? Unapologetic about it. So let's get into it. We're gonna be talking about school and life, going through life unplanned, so to speak, going through life with a plan maybe, but that revolves around school and life because school is such a huge part of our society. Everyone has a different relationship with school. School looks different for everybody. I know personally, a relationship with school for me was never, from the student side of it, never super important to me, to be honest. I always wanted to do good in school. I didn't want to be a bum. I didn't want to not do well in school. I wanted my teachers to like me, all the things. But never ever did I put pressure on myself to get straight A's. Never did my family put pressure on me to get straight A's, ever. School was never really a topic in my house, which I feel like is really polarizing for a lot of people. I know, some people, they, couldn't go out if they didn't have good grades, or they couldn't get this, school was so structured in some people's life, and it just wasn't in mine. I always loved school in the sense of, when I was 5 years old, I knew I loved kids and wanted to be a teacher. Knew I loved education from that perspective. I wanted to take care of kids. I wanted to educate. I wanted to be a helping hand. I wanted to be a safe space for children. I wanted to be a teacher. Also, it helps that I like to be bossy. You know what I'm saying? So I've always loved school from that perspective. But again, from a student lens, like it never really was like a huge thought in my head. So flash forward to high school. I had a blast. High school was so fun for me. I loved high school so much. I think high school is such a formative time in somebody's life. Truly. Like everybody says middle school is the awkward phase. Like, yeah, but I mean, we're all preteens, like it's awkward for everyone, you know what I'm saying? I think high school are really those years that are awkward because you're trying to figure everything out. And you think you're a tiny adult, you know what I'm saying? Or at least I did, for sure. Like you're navigating friendships maybe that you've had forever, and you're navigating how to keep them or maintain them or let go of them as you're starting to sort of transition into a young adult, right? You're starting to navigate probably romantic relationships for the first time, and everything that goes along with that, and hormones are raging, and you're experimenting with quite literally everything for the first time, hopefully, at least in high school. You're not doing that in middle school or below, but you're experimenting with absolutely everything, and you've almost got your own little society right there, right? You have friends, you have relationships, maybe you have a job, or you do sports after school, like you're working towards something that's really important to you in one way or another, right? And it's just kind of a tiny introduction to life. I really do think it is. Everyone's high school experience looks different, and I know I was really blessed to have an amazing one. I had so much fun in high school. Me and my friends had so much fun in high school. I hate to say it, we partied our tails off. Like, quite literally, I didn't. I mean, a couple times I threw parties, but my friends and I threw, like, Project X level parties every weekend. So fun. Or we were going up to, especially if you're my little sister, please, God, don't listen to this. But I would be a sophomore in high school, junior in high school, senior in high school, and we're going up to colleges and partying and spending weekends up there and yada, yada, yada. I had so much fun. That being said, I think so much of that played into how I view college, right? Like, I pretty much got it all out of my system in high school. I did a lot. I did it all, okay? So when college started to come around, and college is starting to become a topic, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. There's so much mystery behind it in a good way. People put so much, I guess, emphasis on college, emphasis on doing things a certain way, right? You graduate high school, maybe you take a year off, but that's kind of frowned upon for some reason, and then but like the standard is you go to a 4-year, right? And you party, and you're in a sorority, and blah, 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 blah. That's the standard. And I wanted to be a part of that. I was so stoked. I was set, and I mean set, on the University of Alabama. I was like, I am going to the University of Alabama. Was so excited, got in, had a roommate, we had a dorm assigned. I was going to all of the Alabama functions that were here. I couldn't be more excited. The huge school appealed to me so much, and that's why, originally why I transferred high school. It's like a big school, a big atmosphere like that I love, right? Huge Greek life, biggest Greek life in the nation, arguably. At the time when I was going to go, the best football team in the nation. Loved that. Like, all of it was so fun and so appealing to me at the time, right? And none of my parents talked to me about college at all, probably, throughout my entire high school experience, quite literally at all. My mom had stayed here and went to some really small school. My dad never went to college. My dad dropped out of his first semester of college. So college was just never really talked about ever, which is horrible. So bad. And I kind of don't fault my parents for it, especially my dad, pretty much just raising me. He doesn't know. You know what I mean? He doesn't know. But it's not talked about. And if it is talked about, I don't think it's talked about like it should be talked about, especially at the school level, right? As 18, 17-year-old kids, your counselors are talking to you about college. And yes, you hear about scholarships and all sorts of things like that. But it's about as deep financially as it goes, right? No counselor is going to sit with you and be like, yay, university, blah, 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 that's so much fun. You have the grades to get in, that's so awesome. Let's talk about transcripts and blah, 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 blah. No college advisor, no high school counselor, advisor, whatever you want to call it, is going to sit down with you and say, yeah, you're going to go here and expect to be put in $100,000 worth of debt that's going to follow you for the rest of your life. No one's telling you that. Nobody is telling you that. No one. And that blows my mind. Blows my mind. That we are leaving that kind of decision in the hands of a 17, 18-year-old who has no idea what they even want to do. Most of them. You know what I'm saying? That completely blows my mind. Completely blows my mind. So anyways, more about me. Okay. So going to college was getting in. I was so excited, was doing all the things. And, my dad was like, Kelsey, I really think you should rethink this. This is not smart. You are going to put yourself in a lot of debt, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And I was pretty pissed off too. I'm like, you didn't want to start talking to me about college and these implications, years previous. Why is nobody telling me these things? Why aren't my friends talking about these things? Why, it just felt like me. Why is it just me that can't go? You know what I'm saying? Why is it just me that's being told no and being told all these things? And I know, and I'm sitting here and I know for a fact, I could have done the work throughout high school and gotten scholarships and done the full 9 if that's really what I wanted to do. If really deep in my heart, I wanted to go to a big state school and I needed the scholarship and I could have put the work in, but that was never on my radar. A, because nobody talked to me about that, but B, because I much preferred to have a social life and to do what I did than to truly buckle down on grades. The honest truth. Granted, I did have, I basically was working a full-time job since I could at 16. Outside, I would go to school from 7 to 3 and then would work from 4 to 10. So I chose my social life. I didn't have bad grades by any means, but I definitely didn't have substantial scholarship kind of grades. Okay. So not saying that that's impossible or that's bad or there's not ways around that, but it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't for me, but nobody really told me how detrimental or important that is and what those implications and what the true cost of college is. And I think in our society, university is so glorified, and if I'm really being controversial here, for no reason. You really don't need to go to college anymore. I'm not saying I'm going to be a teacher. I have to go to college. I have to have a piece of paper. I have to get licensed. You want to be a doctor? You have to be licensed. Go to college. You need to go to college. There's no way around college. That's totally fine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know. You don't know. That's cool. That's awesome. You honestly shouldn't know what you want to do for the rest of your life at 17 or 18 years old. Don't go to college or do it a different way. Go an untraditional route. And that's so sad because I think so many people would. A, if they were educated about what the true cost of college is, but B, if there wasn't such a stigma about not doing the 4 year. You know what I'm saying? Because really all it is you're just blacking out in frat houses, and which is fun, was so fun, and I got to do that in high school, and that was a blast. And again, this is probably why I have this opinion, because I do think those are really formative things that people need to go through, and you need to learn hard lessons, and you need to be a free bird for a little bit, right? But you can do that through other avenues. Anyways, I just remember going back to high school when my father was telling me this, and I was so pissed, and I was so upset, and it took me forever to withdraw from the University of Alabama. It took me forever. I don't think I actually ended up withdrawing until either like right before I actually graduated high school, probably around then actually, probably like right before I graduated from high school, and I was so upset. And I had a really great job at the time that I loved very much, and that did so much for me as a person, truly. And I just remember being beside myself and being like, why is it me? Why is it me? Why is it just me? Why can't I have this? But that only lasted so long. I think I came to the light really quickly. I think it's very easy, and this goes for so many things, right? This goes for social media. This goes for all of life. We see people doing so many things, and we're like, wait, they're my age and they're doing this? Excuse me. I think that goes for so many things, right? We see people our age on social media or just in person, like out and about, doing these so many things, right? And we're like, wait, I'm the same age, or like, why am I not there in life? Or why can't I afford to do this? Or blah, 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 blah. When in reality, there's so many working factors behind the scene. They probably most likely they can't afford to do it either, and they are in so much debt it's not even funny. Credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card. Or yes, like partying, college student, so fun. Like, if you're getting it paid for, power to you. That's awesome. If your parents can afford that, that is so amazing. I am so happy for you. I wish that, like that would be awesome, right? If you got a scholarship, even more power to you. That's so dope, right? But I think the majority of people we don't even look at, and we don't even see, like, this person's putting themselves in $100,000 worth of debt for an undergrad degree. This person is doing this. Like, there's so many things going on behind the scene that we don't see, but nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. And I think if we all sat down and we're like, hey, this is crippling, because I think so many people come out. I think this is where there needs to be reform on so many levels. But I think this is, aside from not being educated before you go into college, no one's being educated after college. Like, the job market right now is horrible, and it's probably going to remain horrible because the careers that colleges are putting out, like when you're getting a business degree or a marketing degree, like, holy moly, the job market is so oversaturated that no one can get jobs. Or if you're getting a job, it's $22 or $23 an hour, and you have $100,000 worth of student loans that's going to follow you forever. And then you're like, holy fuck shit, I shouldn't have done that. That was really stupid. Why did nobody tell me this? You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And all these big universities are making so much money. So much money. It's unreal. Absolutely unreal. This noise is literally going to drive me nuts. Oh, you guys. Intermission. I have this microphone hooked up to my phone, not my camera. I have this microphone hooked up to my phone so it can pick up the audio for the audio recording for that version of the podcast, right? I have not been recording this entire time. So I guess we gotta put the mic down, right? We gotta put the mic down. Now my hands are free. That was so jarring. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, such a conversation. Like nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking to you about the implications of when you're 17, 18 years old, you know, signing this paper and making this huge decision for your life. And then you come out of school and you're like, what the hell? Why did nobody tell me this? And now I'm screwed. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely mind-boggling, and I feel like this information needs to be shared. Like, I need to be the big sister here, and we need to start this conversation because it's so taboo and so cliche, like so taboo to talk about, and nobody wants to talk about money or debt or any of that fun stuff, right? But it's just the truth, and there should not be a stigma around going to a 4-year. Like, there really shouldn't. Granted, when I was in high school, I would have given anything. I would have given anything. I was like, I want to be just like my friends. I want to do this so bad. Like, I want to go off to a 4-year. I want to have this sort of experience. Sitting here today, what, 3 years later, I absolutely would not have changed a thing. I would have not done anything differently. And on a deeper, more little soul, profound little message, I think we need to get rid of that stigma and make it okay and open that conversation. And I had a friend open up to me about her struggles with this topic and saying, you know, like, not money related, but she's in college and, you know, she had a really traumatic thing happen to her and her family. And that pretty much, you know, turned their world upside down, right? And she's not a fan of school either. So is really struggling, right? She's really struggling to get through school and to do this. But she's killing it. She's killing it beyond any measure. She has no idea how much she's killing it, right? But she's basically saying, I'm not going to graduate on time. You know, like, I am behind in the sense that I'm not going to graduate on time, and, like, I'm so ashamed. I'm so embarrassed. I'm this and that, and it literally broke my heart because you're upset. She's obviously extremely upset about what happened to her, but that fear lies within not finishing school at a certain time with everybody else, with her peers. And that's mind-blowing to me. That's mind-blowing that as a society we have instilled so much fear into the concept of school and a university and a continued education. Like, it is just not what it used to be. College is not where our parents went to college. College is not where people 10 years, 15 years ago went to college. Like, it's just not, it's totally morphed into a societal experience than it really is about a true education and obtaining something that can further your career, right? Because now you are needing a master's, you're needing an MBA. For education, you need to have a master's. Maybe you will have, you know, ESL, English Second Language, or you can work with special ed kids, right? Like, you have to have some sort of, I'm so overstimulated right now. You guys have no idea. I need a lip gloss break. And there's just crap in my lip gloss and I'm gonna freak out. And the cat's meowing at me. And I just need to zen, okay? There is just such a societal stigma around college that most people, at least in my generation, aren't sitting there going, wow, I really can't wait to further my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And so this whole concept is so crazy to me. And I talk about this all the time, and because I have done things so untraditionally, right? I just finished my associates actually in this month. is it December still? Yeah. I finished my associates this month. And technically, I'm like a semester behind. I think, something like that. I did that, I bit my tongue and I really had to swallow my pride because of the stigma society gives about doing anything other than going to a 4-year, right? But I really had to swallow my pride, and I worked full time. I've been working full time for 3 years. 2.5, 3. I'm not good at math, you guys. Maybe that's why. And did things an untraditional route. And I wouldn't have done it any differently. I still wouldn't be doing anything differently. And I think it's just so important, like, to open up that conversation and to, be unapologetically yourself. Do what you want to do without fear, right? Because at the end of the day, no one really knows what they're doing. And you just have to be brave enough to do what you want to do and do what you feel is right in your heart, right? And nobody has these conversations. And everything changes, right? And going back to my friend, I think it's the perfect epitome for life, right? Just because you have a plan, or I'm going to go to a 4-year, I'm going to do this, like, doesn't mean life stops, right? Life happens, tragedy pops up, things pop up that cause you to reroute. And you can't have such blinders on and such a parallel or closed-minded outlook on how you obtain what you want to obtain, I guess. I think it's important, it's actually critical that everybody has a goal, right? Everybody has a goal, whatever that might be, whatever far-fetched goal that you might have, you need to have one, right? Definitely don't leave high school, and everyone has a dream, right? But definitely don't leave high school and do nothing and be a bum, right? Have your goal, have your dream, whatever that is, and make steps towards it. Gradually, every day, put your mindset there, right? And you don't have to do things the right way, and things can change. And I know things have changed for me so many times. So many times. There was a moment where I was going to do my 2 years here, and then I was going to go off to Alabama and live that kind of life. And then most recently, there has been, I'm like, okay, once I finish my 2 years, I am immediately going to go to Florida and immediately going to go to this university down there and live my life as a single gal and, focus on modeling, But things pop up, right? Things get derailed. Like, I get a boyfriend. I need a car. I need a car before I go anywhere because my car's broken down. Things pop up, and you can't be so rigid because life isn't, right? This sounds so Chinese fortune cookie, but it's the truth. Life doesn't stop. Life will throw things at you, and you should be able to have your goal. It's okay to go through life without a plan. You don't need to plan. Plans, life literally looks at the face of plans and laughs in their face, right? Because it's you just can't have a plan and be so rigid with it because it's just not how it's gonna go, right? But do you hear this animal? There is going to be so much editing in this episode it's not even funny, and I don't know how to do it. So I guess we're learning, right? We're learning. Hi, Gary. But moral of the story, this episode, I'm so sorry, is truly unapologetic and truly unperfect and unplanned, right? It's going with the whole theme of this episode, right? But you gotta have a goal. That's the most important thing. You gotta have a goal. Mine happens to be modeling. I really want to see where my modeling can take me. I want to win Miss Colorado USA and give back to my community and advocate for education reform in that way, because clearly, education is an important topic to me. But the timeline of that, I have to have grace with, right? Obviously, I'm not gonna sit on my butt and not do anything about it because it's not gonna get done that way, right? But you have to give yourself grace with the timeline of things, with how it's done, because things are going to change. They're going to change, and you have to be a palm tree. You have to be able to go with it, and you have to be able to learn to love the new path that you're on that you didn't plan for. But I think that topic, that conversation needs to start so much earlier than when you come out of college and when my friends are coming out of college and being like, holy cow. These sort of heavy life decisions are truly forced upon us at such a young age. And no one talks about the repercussions of it financially, mentally, is absurd. Gary is so upset that he was not able to participate this entire show. If you could hear him yelling the entire time. But yeah, I just think it's so important to open up and have these conversations, because this can't be the narrative forever, and something needs to give and something needs to change. And let me be this, speaking example of it. I'll give you the most recent example, right? I was like, I just bought a car. Okay, I just bought a car, my first really big girl purchase. So proud of myself. Right, but now savings need to start back up. So before I feel comfortable leaving the house. Granted, I could leave and be a free bird whenever I wanted to, but I don't think it's smart. And I don't need to have that, stigma attached to what I'm doing. I'm doing what I want to do because I believe I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what's right for me, and it's smart. Right? Car came out. And then I was like, I'm going to Florida. And I still plan on going to Florida, but I planned on going to university in Florida. And in going to researching and applying for Florida, I kept getting ads for this other university that works so much better, and I can jumpstart my career in a certain way. And things just happen for a reason, and life is so unpredictable, and you gotta go through life unplanned. You really do. You gotta have a goal, but how you get there has to be unplanned. You can't be rigid about it. You have to make, obviously, I sound like a, you guys, my brain is so fried. This is so repetitive, but I really want to instill this in your head. You have to have a goal. How you get to that goal is up to you and is up to life. You can have a plan, and that's so awesome to have a plan, map some things out, right? But most of those might not go according to plan, and you have to be okay with that with yourself, right? And not fear the judgment of others, because in reality, they have no idea what they're doing, and they're a hot mess express, okay? So live your life. Live your life to the fullest. Go through unplanned, babes. Unapologetically unplanned. I didn't plan to have Gary or any animal ever in an episode, but here he is. Crazy as a sea monkey. I don't know. Or crazy just as a regular monkey. But aren't you glad he's here? Doesn't he just make it so much better? Anyways, I'll see you next time.